7 in your book. We're looking at numbers 1 through 10. And we're looking at 3 or more systems of linear equations using 3 by 3 determinants. And these particular problems are number 1 and 2. And we have to remember, in the first video, we talked about how this is all lined up with letters. And I had 3 linear equations up there. And I placed one of those letters, like A, B, C, D, E, right, above a coefficient. And remember, the coefficient is the number that precedes the variable. And so I put a letter there. And what those letters were to represent locations that, regardless of the numbers that you use, will go there. So if you remember right, and I put it up here already, I had initially put it up AEI, and we'll talk about how that happened, right? I put AEI, and then BFG, and so on. Okay, so to remember this, I'm going to position my letters. Remember, A, B, C. So I'm putting these letters in their corresponding spot. And I just go A, B, C all the way across. Until I hit the end, I just put A, B. I stop before I put in C. Then I'm going to say D, E, F. And I do that all the way across. And remember, these letters are going to indicate positions for the numbers to go in the problem. And then G, H, I. Okay, and so these are the positions of our letters. So how do I determine what goes where? Well, if you remember, I had, we just go on a diagonal, right? I go A, E, I. And then if I look, I can see that that corresponds with the position right here, A, E, I. Remember? And then I'm going to, so basically that's what happens. So A, E, I, and then I said B, F, G, and C, D, H. So I go on those diagonals, and if you remember, again, if you look back and you remember correctly, I have the second diagonal was B, F, G, and the third diagonal says C, D, H, okay, right here. Okay, then what I did is I said, okay, now I'm going to go back on the other direction with my diagonal. And so I went like 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. I go C, E, G, A, F, H, B, D, I. And those are the positions of my diagonal. And so if you look at those, you'll see, like if you look at the very last green diagonal, which went B, D, I, you look all the way over here to the right, and there's the BDI. And so you might take a second and look at that and see if that makes sense, if you remember that. And again, that's in the last video. So if you still have questions on it, you want to go back and look at that other video. All right, so let's take a look now at the next problem, or at the rest of the problem. All I'm going to do now is I'm basically going to look at my letters, and I'm going to put them in their corresponding positions. So I look at my position A over here, which is a 1. Okay, it was a 1. So in all the positions where my A that's where the 1 would go. Okay, again, these letters are going to represent positions to put the numbers in. And so then if I look at B, B was the number 3, so I find all my B's, and I'll put the number 3's in. Okay, that represents the B's. Now, eventually, you'll get where you don't have to do this, but you don't have to write all these letters down. But in the beginning, you should probably do that to help you out. So let's back up a little bit. I put A, B. Let's do A. Let's do E. Okay, E is 1, and we can see how this kind of fits together. It really doesn't matter. You're basically, and then I'm going to go. So all my E's get 1. So, and then my I's get 1. So it doesn't really matter where you put, if you go A, B, C first, whatever. You just have to make sure they're all in the right position. Let's see, my I's, right? Okay, my I's were 1. Then I look at B, which is 3. All right, I already put my B's in. 3. Okay, right here. And over to the right. Then I'm going to look at F, F's were 2's, so I find my 2's. Or my F's rather, and I put a 2 in rather. And then I go with my G, which was also 2. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in the other direction, and I'm going to say C, E, G, right? So C's got a 4, so you can see that better. C's got a 4. And E's get a 1. Okay, we got E's already. Yeah, we put our E's in. And G's, we get a 2, and we got our G's in. Now I'm going to look at my next one. I'm going to look at A. A's get a 1. So I'm going to put my 1's in for A. Okay, and I have those already. My D's, my F's rather, get a 2, and I have those in. And my H's get an I. And I have, I don't have all those in, do I? Sorry, H's get a 1, not an I. H gets a 1. Okay, so H gets a 1. And I missed my D's. Let me go back and find my D. My D is a 1. Okay, so I have filled in all my blanks. This was a plus, plus, minus, minus, minus. All right, so now that I've filled everything in, now it's just simple multiplication. Okay, I just say 1 times 1 times 1 gives me a 1. Plus 3 times 2 is 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 4 times 1 is 4 times 1 is 4 minus 4 times 1 times 2, which is 8, right? 4 times 1 is 4 times 2 is 8, minus 1 times 2 is 2 times 1 is 2, minus 3 times 1 is 3 times 1 is 3. Okay? So what I have now, when I look at this, I have 1. All right, this is going to equal 1. Try that again. 1 plus 12 plus 4 minus 8 minus 2 minus 3 equals. So 1 plus 12, 1 plus 12 is 13, plus 4 is 17, minus, okay, so a negative 8 and a negative 2 is negative 10. I'm sorry, let me put a plus here. Negative 8 and negative 2 is 10, and negative 10 and negative 3 is negative 13. So I would have that, right? But if I have a plus and a negative, so that would be like saying, if it's a positive and a negative next to each other, right, with no number in between, then it's like saying 17 minus 13, which gives me 4. So then my answer to this is 4. Okay? My answer to that is 4. Okay, so let's try to, take pause, look at that for a second, and then we'll look at number 2. All right, let's take a look at number 2 for a moment. Now, we're going to stay with our same rule. And hopefully you paused the video and looked at number 1. But anyway, moving on to number 2. Let's take a look, and we have our numbers. We put our numbers in, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, or in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I position. So what I'm doing is I'm using these letters here. I'm using these letters here to represent a position for those numbers. So then the 2 would be in there. If you look at the top, right? The 2 is going to be A. The 1 is B. So I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, right? All the way across. A, B, C, A, B, D, E, F, G, H, I. So I'm going to come across, and I just say A, E, I, B, F, G. Let me change that color for you so that maybe help you. B, F, G. G, D, H. So I'm going to put those numbers in those corresponding positions. So A, E, I, right? A, E, I. Those numbers are 2, 5, 8. Okay, it's all multiplied. Plus BFG. So B is a 1. F is a 1. G is a 1. Plus my CDH, which is 1, 1, 1. Plus, I'm sorry, not plus, we're going minus now. So now I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to put these in darker colors real quick so you can see them. Okay, so where I had them, I have 2, 5, 8, plus 1, 1, 1, plus 1, 1, 1. Now I'm going to go minus, and then now I'm going to go back in the other direction. I'm going to kind of speed it up a little bit. Hopefully you can kind of follow along. So now I go backwards, starting. I went A, B, C. Now I'm going to start at C and go C, B, A. And I'm going to keep moving in the direction to the right. So I'm going to go C, E, G, A, F, H, B, D, I. So then I'm saying minus C, E, G. So 1, 5, 1, minus A, F, H. So that'll be 2 for what's my train of thought now? Yeah, A, F, H, 2 for A, 1 for F, and 1 for H. minus B, D, I. So minus B is 1, D is 1, I is 8. Okay? So, again, my letters were just simply, they just were the position of my numbers. So I put the letters over my numbers and then used those for my positioning. So then I can say, okay, I can take this and I say 2 times 5 is 10, times 8 is 80, plus 1 times 1 is 1, times 1 is 1. Okay? Plus 1 times 1 times 1. Let me see. Okay, so plus 1 times 1 times 1, so it gives me a 1, minus 1 times 5 is 5, times 1 is 5, minus 2 times 1 is 2, times 1 is 2, minus 1 times 1 is 1, times 1 is 8. So then this is going to equal 80 plus 1 minus 5 minus 2 minus 8. Well, 80 plus 1 is 81, plus 1 is 82. It's going to be minus, okay, and negative 5, you have negative 5, negative 2 is 7, negative 8 is negative 15, so minus 15. And so when I do the math on this, I come out with 67. So then number 2 is going to equal 67. Okay, so hopefully that helps you with the start of numbers 1 through 10, 2.7, and in the chapter for Algebra 2. So take a look at that, and numbers 3 through 10 will be the same pattern. If you have any questions, you can contact me. Good luck.